Hello, everyone. As always, I'm going to wait maybe a minute or two until people get in for the live chat. All right. We already have people submitting their designs. A bunch already, in fact. How's it going? Oh yeah, let me get the chat out. How's it going? Yeah, it's the good old new year. Yeah, I'll talk about where you submit the design right here. My stream health is only on orange, which isn't green, which means it's like maybe there's a little bit of lag. That sucks. I don't want there to be lag here. Although sometimes it just starts off slow, so hopefully it improves. But yeah, you submit the design here in Discord. There's a link in the description on YouTube. You got to join up to my Discord server and click on review submissions and submit there, but I'll go over that in a second. $1 a.m. Oh man, I'm such an old man. I used to stay up so late, but not anymore. All right. All right, we got, well, a decent amount of people in here now, so let's get started. All right, we got something new, too. That's a kind of, I don't know. I thought of it this morning, and I set it all up. That's why I'm a little bit later than normal, but I'll mention it here in a second. All right, so basically, last week I did do one of these as well, and usually I'm going back and forth between project follow-along live streams and these design reviews, but I'm doing another design review this week just because I didn't have enough time to get a project follow-along going because it's been busy. So what I do basically, I review designs and I try to take a look at your designs, whether they be logo designs, UI designs, print designs, you know, whatever. And I just try to give you my opinion about what could be improved. And I try to leave out my subjective preferences, and I try to really focus on core fundamentals in terms of like what objectively can be improved with these designs. And so the way you submit your design is you click on the Discord link here in the server. In YouTube rather, and then you'll join up. You're put in the general, I believe, by default, but then just click on review submissions and then submit your design here. You can see some people they could submit images if it's a simple image or a link to a website. Some people put in Behance projects and all that good stuff. Also, these live streams are now sponsored as of last month, which allows me to do them every week, and it is sponsored by Skillshare.com, and that's what that little overlay over here is. If you click that link, or you can't click it on here, but it's in the description, you will get 2 months free, and they have tons of classes on UI, UX design, graphic design, tons of identity and logo design classes, and it's just going to help you, as well as fundamental classes. And that's one of the things I go over, is like trying to nail down the design fundamentals, which if you really focus on, that's how you become a great designer, really. So definitely check that out. Okay, so we're going to get started here in a second. Oh, and a new thing that I'm doing that I wanted to mention is when I do these design reviews, I don't rate you like on a scale of 1 to 10. Except for today. So I'm going to start doing that. There's a little animation that's going to play based on the rating that I give you. And so 1 being the worst, like this is your first time ever designing something, all the way to 10 being the best. All right, so it should be interesting. Hopefully I don't screw it up. There's keyboard shortcuts I have to memorize to make it work. So let's get started here with the first one. First, before I get started though, I want to check the chat, make sure everything is going well. Yes, you can still hear me apparently. All right, good. So I'm going to scroll up here and just take these in the order they come. I definitely will not be able to get through all of them because I never can, but if you really want me to review it, you can send in a super chat, which is this little thing right here. You click on the money icon and just send any type of amount, you know, along with your message of your Discord username so that I know, you know, who to target. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do, it was just submitted like 30 minutes ago because I announced it on my Discord server when I'm doing this stuff. So I announced it right here, and this is the very first one that I received. So I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do a review of just this icon thing here or the actual site. Either way, the site is right here. All right, so outdated. This is the name, outdated graphics. I don't know about that name. I'm not sure if you want to name it outdated unless you're going like specifically retro or something. But looking at this, first the logo doesn't really contrast enough with the background. It's completely black and it's kind of like a darker area here. So I would make that white really, or change the background to be lighter to bring this contrast out. But we can see we're using black here and white here. Yeah. Also, the spacing between these should be increased. So you want to space those out, more white space. Coming down here. Wow, these are really cheap prices that you're offering here. $3 for website graphics. All right, looking at the contact, the call to action button that you have here, just making it gray, that's a no-go. Especially, I also see there's like a little bit of a red border around it, like 1 pixel. I'd get rid of that. Make this color stand out a lot more. If you're going to go for the monochromatic approach, which it looks like you are, because I just see grays and whites and blacks here, make it black with the white text. That way it'll stand out more. All right, so and then this down here, I would try to rework this contact section. Again, I would go to UI inspiration sites and just see how people are doing certain elements like this. It seems like it's unnecessarily just contained in this white box, and it looks like even this part is pixelated, this icon. You definitely want to make sure everything is very crisp as much as possible. All right, so now we're going to get to the fun rating part. Where I'm going to give you a rating based on just this work that I see here. So it's not you as a designer, but it's just what I see here and based on what I think needs to be improved. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like the worst and 10 being like the best design, one of the best designs I've ever seen, I have to say I'm going to put this at, I would say, yeah, a 3. Oh, what's happening? Are you kidding me? The first time I try to make this work, and it does not work. Let's try this. There we go. Oh, so frustrating. I did all this tests and stuff beforehand, and of course it just didn't work. All right. Let's go on to the next one. All right, so let's see what people have to say about that. Say, is that stupid? Let's get off there. All right, let's take on the next one here. Let's open this link. All right, so this one, all right, this looks like another kind of personal portfolio, a full stack engineer. All right, nice white space right here. The colors work pretty well. The one thing I would definitely change is you're allocating a ton of space here. I mean, this almost looks like it's a 50-50 column that you have set up here. I wouldn't dedicate quite this much space to this area over here. Maybe make it like 1/3, and that would be a bit better. Because all this stuff, I mean, this is just your name and your subtitle. You know, I don't think it needs that much space quite so much. But looking at this, otherwise, I like the colors. Like I said, this is a good separation in terms of visual hierarchy between your type elements here. Coming down here, yeah, this is all very clean. And again, nothing too insane is happening here. I mean, nothing that's going too crazy. One thing, like for instance, that could be slightly improved, just a tiny thing, is where it says, so you can see we have this amount of white space right here, which I can do this with this plugin here. So we have this amount of white space from the top of the text and the bottom of that image, and then we have double the amount right here, almost. So I would just make it even. So this amount, so the get in touch should be like right here. Yeah, let me get rid of that. There we go. Clear all. Okay. Yeah, and that's it. So otherwise, this is good. So I'm going to give this, for what it is, let's see if I can get it to work this time. Yes, a 6. All right. Let's move on here. And let's go on to the next one. All right. I like to check the chat before we just FIGO. Okay, well, I'll look at it. Let me see where it's at. All right. I will do yours real quickly. All right. How are you guys liking the rating system? I thought it was kind of cool. I don't know. It looks like this is just a GIF that I'm supposed to look at here, so I'm trying to see, is this some sort of like a redesign of like the YouTube interface perhaps, or is it, oh, it's like a dark mode. I don't think I've ever used dark mode on YouTube, but perhaps you're just talking about the this graphic right here. I don't know. Let me know and I'll come back to review this. Let me know in the chat, because I'm not sure. Oh, wait. It's right here. Oh, this is what you want reviewed. Boy, this is going smooth. Here we go. All right. Checking this out. Ooh, let's see. Let's go down. Okay, so there's no scrolling. It's just this. So one thing that you're lacking right off the bat is a call to action, like a button of some sort somewhere to direct them. I see we have these, but really that's nothing. A lot of people just ignore social links. They want to see, they want to learn more about your ability. Probably they want to see your portfolio the most part. So I would put some sort of call to action for a portfolio to show up. Let's take a look at the menu. So my work, I would make a direct link to my work somewhere on that landing page. Looking at this, it kind of just, everything's real kind of gray and monotone, I would say. And I mean, the type definitely does contrast enough, so you got that. But yeah, when it comes to mid grays, kind of like how you have in there, I might change things up just a bit, and either choose a more dark or a more light background, along with like this mid gray right here. Outside of that, I mean, you're getting most of the very basic stuff right, but it is a little bit liney right here because you have like a 5 pixel white border on here, and then you have lines separating these individual elements here, and then you have lines separating right between here. I would try to condense everything inside of and simplify things inside of just a basic card layout, and not to where everything is so boxy right here for this example. I would probably scale the size of this down a little bit, especially if I'm on a large viewport or a large device like this, or a monitor, for instance. Probably condense things down a little bit. It makes everything's real large in front of my face. So I'm kind of more of a fan of maybe not making things 100% fluid like this at large resolutions. Other than this, you're getting all the absolute basics down, but it is a little bit drab in a sense. Just kind of a little bit, like I said, a little bit too much grays for my liking. But again, nothing too horrendous is occurring in terms of just, you know, really screwing stuff up. It's just pretty monotone, and I would look at trying to do something more interesting, maybe a little bit more color in this area, and definitely have a call to action of some sort. All right, so for the rating for this, I'm going to give this one a 4. All right. So let's continue on here. Check out this. Oh, is Brad here? Oh, looks like a project from Travis to me. Okay. All right. All right, cool. Let's see here. Let's continue on. Who was it that I did last? I think I did this one last, but I want to make sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is just looks like a, what is this? Is it like a logo design? Looks like a logo / identity design. For what this is, it looks just kind of like an O. I'm not sure if it's supposed to, I mean, unfortunately I didn't see, there's no other information provided based on, you know, the context and what this is about. But for what it is, just from a pure design perspective, the shape itself I really like. What I think could be improved in presenting it a little bit more is try to create more contrast between itself and this background. I can see you kind of have like a radial gradient, a light area coming from it. It kind of washes it out in the middle here, so there's not quite as much contrast. And the biggest issue I would say is this little drop shadow, or not drop shadow, but it's kind of like it is like a shadow, except that it's an opposite of shadow. It's getting lighter instead of darker. I would probably remove that and simplify it a lot more, because this can stand on its own. So just because you can, of course, integrate, you know, radial gradients and shadows and reflections, those more often than not will take away from the impact of the design itself. But so just with the thing is, I have to judge the whole composition, not just the mark itself. If I judge the mark itself for what it is, I would give this like a 9. But with these other elements distracting me a little bit, I think we're going to go for a 7 for this one. All right. Thanks for that. Okay. Coming up next, if you take a look at my portfolio site at ainsleycarlark.com. All right. Let's see here. I always open these up on the other monitor just in case somebody tries to troll me. And there's, you know, Bobs and Vagines are showing up everywhere. All right. Fortunately, that has never happened yet. And I'm sure somebody's going to try to tempt me here. All right. Okay. So let's continue on. Let's see. Ainsley Clark. Okay. One thing that's kind of throwing me off right away, you heard I mispronounced it, and I said Inslee, and that's because this is separated. Wow. Oh, that's kind of cool. This little A, which is a cool design, is so far separated visually from the Inslee that it threw me off. I think it would be fine to leave it as it is, but scale it down a bit. Maybe even almost around the same size as the rest of the type and such. This will also make it easier for you to place it on different mediums when you scale it down. Otherwise, if you tried to make this real small, the A would be real identifiable, but the Inslee Clark part may be real small. So I would scale it down just a bit. Outside of that, on this resolution, at least, this viewport resolution is pretty large here. I'm on 2K resolution for this stream. I would separate your type out just a bit more and separate these elements. You have 4 elements. You have your name. You have this part. You have this part, which is like a subheading, and then the call to action button. What I would do is separate things out more vertically, in a sense, just a bit more. Also, the learn more button, you might want to make that stick out a tad bit more. I mean, you could just make it all orange and fill that in, so it gives people a real solid area and to know where to click. Also, make that cursor pointer, because the cursor wasn't changing even though it's a button. Continuing down, I'll click on this one more time. All right, pretty cool animations there. One issue here is the type. I like what you're doing. You're really separating the type visually, but it's a little bit hard. It's quite hard to read actually, because everything is real condensed vertically. So I would space things out and scale things down maybe a lot more. I can see this is kind of like a quote. If it's a single quote, because I thought these were the 3 different types of text objects representing different ideas, but it's all one quote apparently. Learning to code has reignited my childhood passion. Make that simple. Make it all pretty much the same. Don't style those differently. Coming out here, this text right here is too small based on the font that you're using, because it's hard to read. Quite hard to read actually. So either change up the font and or increase the font size. I like the colors that you're using. The drop shadow is a little bit heavy, so I would take down the opacity so it doesn't stick out quite so much. Yeah, just a few areas. I like the contact area. This is pretty good, and using the A here, that's good for branding and all that. So yeah, this isn't horrendous. There's just a few areas that I think would really bump this up to something more along, you know, maybe a 7/8. Someone's calling me. Be quiet. But yeah, so I think I'm going to give this one. I will give this one, and I want to say like a 6.5, but I will say, I'm going to say, yeah, we'll say 6. All right. So let's continue on here. Let's close that out. All right, who is next? Let's see, it's returning 404. We've already been streaming for 21 minutes. We'll do this for about an hour. All right. I'm just going to do a quick scroll through this. All right, so first of all, I like this blue. I can see there's subtle shadows occurring here. This almost this looks like it's a gradient itself. It's a nice hero section, but the problem is, like for the background at least, but the problem is this is way too just bland. You want to do something that really makes better use of this area that you have. One of the big trends in 2018 and certainly in 2019 that we'll see going forward is, you know, when you have this big sort of landing page with a hero section like this above the fold, utilizing some sort of illustration, some abstract yet relevant illustration of sorts, makes sense. So if I type UI illustration, I'm here at dribble.com. You can see a lot of these UI designs that are coming out are really taking advantage of illustrations big time in terms of UI design and adding to it. So I would just try to browse around for inspiration on things that you can do to really spice this area up. The hire me and contact being gray, no. I'd make those white and then make the hire me white and make it the one that sticks out the most. And then the contact button, perhaps you can de-emphasize it less than the hire me button by making it the text white and then not having a fill in here, but give it maybe like a 3-pixel white stroke. That's a common way if you have 2 buttons that are important, but one being more important. Coming down here, yeah, the way you applied the shadow is not bad here. It's maybe a little bit large, maybe scale it down just a tad bit more. One issue is your content isn't framed evenly with your white space in here. Notice the amount of you have this amount of white space right here, or padding, but then if you take this amount, the same amount of white space, and from here and then up to here, you can see it's so much less. You only have like, well, if I can move it, I don't think that's going to work, but you get the point. You only have like this much compared to this much that you have on the side. So definitely try to get consistent, even padding inside of your containers, and it'll help everything just look a lot better. This part's not too bad. Again, pretty intense on the shadows. Now, the portfolio, I would definitely figure out a different way to show this portfolio, because when it comes to thumbnail images, that works for design usually, but it doesn't really work for just data in Excel spreadsheets and whatever these are. So I would probably just omit this, or give them custom logos or some sort of design or something, because this just looks like a big old mess. So you don't always have to have images. This is a nice contact form, very straightforward, perfect, looking good. All right, and then the alignment of these right here kind of seems like it's just kind of thrown anywhere. It doesn't really fit too well, so maybe put them at the very bottom, above and centered in above this section right here. And there's a lot of different areas that you could place it that would make more sense. So for this design, you could just make some small adjustments just in certain areas that will definitely bump it up 2 points, in my opinion, on my new rating system. But for this, I'm gonna have to say, yeah, I'm gonna say a 4. Okay, but you could get this a lot better, maybe even 3 points by it. Just small things that don't take a long time, but you know, of course, it does require that eye, having that eye, and you'll get there. So let's go on to the next one. Let's see here. All right, this is a portfolio. 220 people watching. It's not bad. All right. Now this is kind of what I was talking about in terms of the utilizing part of your user interface or your landing page for an illustration of some sort. It just fills it out a lot more when you don't have a massive amount of content. And of course, if this is a personal portfolio, you don't necessarily have, like, you know, tons of content to bake in there. So it definitely makes sense in these areas. This is kind of an interesting way take on it. I think this definitely works. I like the logo, very simple. It contrasts well. I can see you have an established color and a theme that's working. This area right here, this graphic, I would probably take this, hopefully it's vector. I would take the vector graphic, and the parts that are gray, they kind of clash with the purple of the background. I would change the gray areas maybe to something that's like white or light pink, or a lighter hue, or a lighter version of the same hue right here. And so just get rid of the grays and try to make, I think it'll come together a lot better, and it'll fit a lot better than it is now. Not to say that it's horrible, but it can be improved. Hello, I'm Dinesh, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce names. And this is all pretty good right here, but then you leave people blank. You probably are intending to put something here because you did say you're working on it, so I understand that. Maybe put like a paragraph here, and then maybe a call to action of some sort right there. Yeah, this is all pretty good type right here. You can see you did something that's a little bit more artsy in terms of the type here, with the about here being a watermark, but it works because you can just barely see it, and it's an afterthought, as it should be, and you can clearly see the about me type here, so that's very good. Yeah, this is all pretty solid from what I see. So again, I do know you're saying you're working on it. With that said, judging, you know, on what is here, I'm probably going to put this at a 7. All right. All right, so let's continue on. I'm going to check out the chat here for a second. And I mean the YouTube chat. Well, I mean, I guess I could test the responsive stuff, but again, that's going to make each review longer. Maybe it's something I could do that's quicker. So let's check, make sure everything else is cool up here. All right, anybody who sends in a super chat, like Nabil, thank you. They get their thing reviewed and pushed to the front of the line. Unfortunately, he did not mention his username. but I'm gonna look for it in here. Nabil, make sure you mention your username for Discord so I know which one to review. So let me. I'm just gonna look for the name. Oh my God, there's so many here. Again, I'm not gonna get to all these. I won't be able to today. But if you really want me to review your design and give you one of those exciting ratings, then you can send in a super chat. Okay. All right. So Nabil, I will look for your message in a bit. But make sure you mention your Discord username in the message. Okay. All right. So let's continue on. Now I lost my place. Wow, there's so many right here. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is the one I just did. Okay. All right, we're going to do this one. All right. An interesting sort of effect occurring here in the type. You can't scroll. There's no scrolling on here. But there is a call to action to write my resume. I'm going to click on this before I start. Whoa. Yeah, I'm not going to be looking at that. All right. So outside of my resume, I would probably emphasize work first. People want to, I guarantee you, employers are going to want to see your work before they bother reading the specifics of your resume. So if you want to put 2 buttons here emphasizing one or the other, the one being most important in work, then yeah, definitely do that. So we'll click this and check that out. All right. So what I'm seeing here is a lot of lines. There's a lot of lines occurring. Basically, mainly because you have lines inside of the actual thumbnail itself, and they're pretty large. So I would get rid of this border, and if you want to separate these from the background, maybe change the background a little bit, or put these in cards. There's a lot of different ways you can go about it. I would say a card-based layout would be a little bit better than this, where you contain all the type in a single container, a more simplified container as well. And at this large resolution here, I'd probably put these like in a single row with 4 of them going lengthwise or horizontally. Click profile. This is throwing me off just a bit. There's a couple things. First, you would on a larger resolution like this, you would want to take the padding in quite a bit. Because you have my profile up here. This type is right next to it. This is a little bit strange. It's throwing me off. The fact that the hello part's over here to the right. I'd be putting this on the top left, or at least switch these two if you're going to do something unique like that. I'm not sure what these 2 things are, though. I thought they were buttons or something. But in terms of contrast and readability, you're getting that correct. So let's go home. Right here. Now this type, I would definitely change that. Try to stick to something that's probably more consistent with this type right here. And it can be styled differently, but it's just kind of a little bit too difficult to read, especially at a smaller size. But from what I see here, let me close this out. I think I will rate this one, especially if, this part's, it's not too bad. The profile page and the work page. Yeah, I'm going to give you a 4. All right. You're almost average, bro. Okay. You can definitely improve that if you know what you're doing, though, within a single sitting by multiple points. So you have a good base, but just a few things. I hope to get this reviewed. By the way, I'm going to check out this. Now, who was it? Nabil? Did he mention anything? Discord username is Nabil. Okay. I'm going to check this out. Where are you at? Oh, there it is. NR creation. All right. Thank you for the super chat. This is a super chat that I'm going to review. Ooh, okay. So there was a loading animation. See if we can get it again. Oh, okay. It was real fast. All right, that's cool. All right, I'm liking what I'm seeing here so far. Very cool hover-based animations, and you can drag them. And that was my initial thing. It's like I hope these can be draggable because you're using this this kind of carousel gallery pattern where you could see half of it. Oh, this is very nice. I like it. Let's click on. Can we click on these? Okay. Unfortunately, you can't click on these, but I guess that's why maybe you're emphasizing over here, but it wasn't immediately evident to me that you couldn't click on them. But you can see the cursor does change to this. So if there's a way you can figure out by making this a little bit more obvious that this label right here is the thing that you have to click, it would be better. But again, that's minor. Let's click on About Me. All right, so the UI changes quite a bit when we get to this part. This is all pretty solid though. This is all real solid type and everything's good padding, white space usage around here. Design portfolio. Yeah, this all looks pretty solid. If I click home, what happens? Do we go back to the, okay, that page? I might try to make the design not feel two different designs when you're dealing with this really cool home page versus a sub page. I'm not sure if maybe you're still working on it and maybe that is the intention going forward. But yeah, everything that I see here, let's check out the menu. This is pretty good. It's real solid. So I'm gonna give this one, yeah, we're gonna give that an 8. All right, so thank you for the super chat, and let's continue on. All right. Also, we're about over halfway through. As you people can see, over here is a overlay for Skillshare.com, which sponsors these these live design reviews and my live shows on Friday. If you go to Skillshare.com, you can check out, there are tons of classes here, and if you use my link, you get the first 2 months for free. So you can watch all this stuff for 2 months and get much better at specifically UI, UX design, if that's what you're interested in. There's tons of classes. I think there's over 25,000 classes on this site, so very, very much recommended. Let's continue on here. Let's see here. Yes, this is where we left off. I'm going to open this. All right. So this is like a package design for a fictional candy bar of sorts. I can see it is vector because I can see the outlines shown here, right here. And for what it is, especially with the different color options, all of which work, yeah, this is solid. You can easily read the type. I'm not sure what that says, but I can't really increase the size. I think this is 100% already. Oh wait, no, it's not. There we go. Yeah, this is solid for what it is. Definitely, I can see like there's some sort of branding right here. This might be like the logo or whatever. But yeah, this not too much negative I can say about this. So for what this is, yeah, I'm gonna give this an 8. All right. Let's continue on here. Next up, all right, we're going to do the super chat that just came in. Thank you for that. And then we'll continue on. Don't worry. I think we'll do One World Group next. Oh, that's not cool. Hold on. It said I couldn't find it. Yeah, you may have given me a wrong URL because this is not working. So just correct the URL in the chat and I'll come back to you. Yeah, because Swert Artworks doesn't work. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. So any suggestion for this logo? Let's open the original so we can see it maybe a little bit better. All right. One world group. All right, so for what this is in terms of the type and the colors, I like it. There's a little bit of issue with the spacing. The G, like looking at the circle here, and then to the left in this negative space right here, it's a little bit more wide than it is between this right here. So I would probably get these a little bit more aligned properly in terms of the letter spacing between these elements. In terms of the actual concept, one world group. Again, I don't know what this group is about or whatever, or what the purpose is, but just going off just the name and the idea that you have three separate spheres here. I don't know. I definitely like it for its simplicity and the color and the type. But I would probably need to know a little bit more about to really talk about whether or not it's a solid concept. Just because we do see there's three separate items and there's not one of them, but they are all styled the same. So yeah, I didn't really have any information about the company, but for what this is, it is pretty solid. I actually do like it. So I'm gonna give it a 7. All right. Okay, let's continue on here then. I'm going to go back to the chat to see if he corrected that URL. Michael W. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I was not sure where I should place that overlay. I'll experiment again. Okay, so this is from somebody who sent in a super chat. Thank you for that. All right, so this is primarily a identity design, at least the top 4. I'm gonna make sure he didn't say anything else here about the Michael W. Oh, it's specific. Sorry, a specific project. There we go. Tech. Okay, so this is an identity design. It looks like. Technique like. All right, so the core focus here I see is on this letter mark, which is a T, and I like it. I like it because obviously this is a play off of circuitry, which is one of those things commonly associated with technology, assuming that's what technique is supposed to be going after. I also like the how it's placed on the circuitry board watermark in the background here. So yeah, I like this. This is solid. Even looking at just kind of reinforcing other supporting elements of the identity, like this, definitely works. Oh, there's a video. I'm gonna take it all the way down though. Oh wow, he even has it physically printed on here. That's cool. Nice. Even has those animating in, which works very well. I like this. It's pretty solid. Awesome stuff. Yeah. There's really not much that I can, critique and say, oh, this must be improved. So I like it. I'm going to give this a 9. There we go. Awesome stuff. All right, so let's continue on. We had another not live chat, but a super chat. All right. Just gonna wait here. I'm gonna translate this page. All right. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. We're already at 45 minutes. Wow. I'll be doing this about probably like 15 more minutes, by the way. So if you do want me to review your designs or whatever, you can send in a super chat. All right, let's continue here. So, all right. First of all, I like the colors and stuff, and it looks like this is my favorite font right there. Oh, I have this nice, yeah, Montserrat. I knew it. I think okay, so there's a couple issues. Let me get my mind right here. This right here, this logo, yeah, that would need to change. Especially you have two of them right here, so it's redundant in a sense. I understand if you scroll up, you lose it, but you need to think of a different way to portray this logo. And that's one of the hard things about a logo that is proportionally square, almost, is you have a hard time placing it. And this right here just looks like a jumbled mess. So you need to think of a different way to put this in here. And you can make it larger and extend outside of this area right here. But again, I wouldn't make it fixed in that case because then it would be overlapping too much. So it's an interesting logo, of course, but sometimes there are ways to place things secondary. You could have a secondary way to display the logo. For instance, it looks like these are some sorts of symbols that could be pushed here, and then just maybe writing it out regular like that, or just leaving a symbol up there alone, and that's it. That's another option. Also, this section, this little graphic right here, that should be much larger to fill out this space because nothing's happening right here or right here. So you'd want to kind of structure things a little bit better, just because there's a lot of empty space in this area. Coming down here. This isn't too bad. This, one thing I would do is probably center these elements just because these are centered in these containers, it looks like, as well. It would probably make them flow a little bit better. But still, that's just a minor thing. These I would probably scale down a bit. They're kind of really large in my face. But again, it's fine. Just a minor gripe here. This is pretty solid. Mixing up you have 4 columns here, it looks like. Mixing up the type of content is a little bit throwing me off a tad bit. You might want to just put this one right next to this one, so you have 2 columns of the same thing, and then maybe restructure this content over here along with this over here a bit. But yeah, you get a lot of the basics right in terms of contrast. I don't see any issue there. The type is pretty good. Just some alignment issues in this logo as well. So being that you are getting a lot of stuff correct, like I like this area right here, and the fact that it wouldn't take too much to fix some of these issues, I'm gonna say, but still, despite the logo is the big thing that's just gonna take points away, I'm gonna say that will be a 6. All right. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Again, all these changes for most of these designs I'm reviewing won't take a lot of time, and that's the good thing. All right, let's continue on. I see a new one just came through from Janine. All right, thank you. All right, so I'm going to open this up. I'll answer some of the questions you guys have. Oh, shoot. There we go. Sorry, I forgot to switch off that thing, the overlay. So, yeah, we're doing somebody who just, Janine here, who submitted a super chat, and then we'll get back to the regular ones. And I will answer some of these questions at the end. I can see a bunch of people are watching and such. And we are going to do this for about 10 more minutes. And so if you do want me to review your design, just send in a super chat and I'll do it no matter what. All right. Let's, okay, welcome to Mass. I'm not sure if this is a part. Okay, so this is a real strong kind of call to action with like this, this overlay right here. From what it is, it's pretty solid in terms of the design. All right, don't get trapped into ransomware and malware ever again. I'm going to come down here before commenting on this. Like a parallax sort of thing there. All right. So starting up here at the top, this is a good background because it contrasts well with the foreground elements. This is more of an afterthought, but you can still see it, so it works well. This right here, on this resolution, I may make things, maybe place this on 2 lines centered a little bit more, especially with this text right here, because on this resolution, a person's head physically has to scan all from here to there. So I think it would make more sense to maybe condense it by about 50% of what it currently is. Also, I'm not too much of a fan of the lines here. These lines, they don't really serve much of a purpose. And also, along with these 2 elements, I would put a call to action of some sort, directing people to wherever it is that you deem is the most important things for them to see, or some action for them to take, be that fill out a form or click a button of some sort. But yeah, overall, it's just pretty solid outside of that. Just very minor stuff. Right here, there's a lot of empty space. It's almost too much white space, I think. I'm having to scroll down quite this much to barely even see anything. I would probably, this is more of a subjective preference, by the way, I would probably left align these. When you have 2 columns, I always think it just gets thrown off a little bit when one of the columns has text that's centered. Maybe just left align these a bit. And again, same comment about the white space and all that. Maybe just take it down. This is a kind of a big issue here because this particular background that you have in this text right here, it's hard to read in certain areas. Like it's hard to see like this text right here. So you could fix that by taking this image into Photoshop or something, or you could do it with CSS, I believe, as well, and take the opacity down, make it darker essentially, and you can do that in different ways. Same comments too about this area and this area. Just notice how much better this looks though because of the background image creating more contrast. The sign up now, it's free with a lot of background text, or the background colors being gray as well. That's that's definitely a no-go. So try to make sure it's emphasized no matter where it's being scrolled. All right, so a lot of positive things happening here, but with some small changes, I think it could be boosted by 3+ points possibly. So for what this is, I'm going to give this, it's borderline. I want to do 6.5, but I'll be nice and I'll say, I'm going to say 7 on this. All right, let's continue on. All right. All right, we got another one. All the people who haven't paid are probably getting mad because all these people are sending in super chats, but no, I appreciate it though. Where is it at? BUDI. Showed up on my other monitor. All right, where are we at? 53 minutes? Okay. All right, so there's no navigation of any sort, which is okay if there's nowhere to navigate to, if it's really just like a one-page thing. I'd like for you to separate this type out more so than it is. I could tell these are different sizes, but they're not quite separated out enough. So your name, you could probably make this the element that is most big. So if I bring out this thing over here, and then font size 52, like we go to like 80 pixels, that's a lot better right there. It separates things out visually so much more. Coming down, that's a funny grin that you have on your face. The type's pretty good looking here. Yeah, this is all pretty good from what I can see here. All right. You may want to change this background primary color here to perhaps like a real light gray, because I just think it's too much orange. And it's really directing a ton of attention to these things, but I think this is even more important. You know, this is what people are going to read probably. So, you know, the background color, you know, that's even too dark. I mean, maybe something like this, and then changing this the type, of course, to black or something that contrasts a lot more might be better. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially because this right here, this label has this color as well, and these two compete. And if you want to do, you could possibly do a very subtle drop shadow, but maybe not. I mean, people could still see the icons themselves, and that's the important part. Looking at this though, this is all solid. I like this. Good type, separating it out well. Yeah, pretty good. For what this is, yeah, I'm gonna say we're gonna do a 7 here. Good stuff. All right, thank you for the super chat, of course. Let's get rid of that, and let's go back to the chat here. All right, I missed a super chat. Oh no. Okay, I just want to make sure. Mine got skipped for the second time. Don't worry, I'm going to get to them. I did his. I did this one. Yeah, I've skipped that one. Sorry about that. These usually don't come in quite as fast, so... wait, did I skip this one too? I want to make sure. I can just have to double check here. What I really need is somebody like in my little home office helping me with this stuff, but I'm doing it all by myself, and so it's kind of difficult. I just want to make sure I'm not skipping over anybody. People will get all pissed off. Okay, I did check that one. This is the one that I skipped. Sorry about that. I will probably start. I'm going to do the reviews a little bit longer today, by the way, so don't worry. Here we go. This is the one I skipped. Sorry about that. Let me read what they have to say first. If you have the time to check out my website, basic ECG terms and principles in Arabic and to all medical staff. All right, so it's a medical site. Okay. All right. All right, so here is the site. All right, so ECG tips. All right, separating things out well, but this right here, for some reason, is off-centered. I'm not sure if that was intentional. Probably wasn't. But yeah, you definitely want to center this. Oh yeah. Oh, I see. Start now. It's supposed to be start now. Something happening here. I think that could be related to what you were talking about, possibly. With the type stuff. A site concern, yeah, I guarantee that's the issue, because I hit translate on here, and so it's just, I know this isn't what you intended. So a site concerned with simplifying the basics of that. This needs to be larger though, a lot larger. And so definitely want to improve that. Again, assuming the translate thing didn't somehow screw things up based on, you know, whatever it replaced. But again, I can only critique what I see. But here, right here, this icon and this and this and this and this, they're all pretty close together. So you could probably figure out a way to space them out more vertically, especially with all the room that you have available here. Coming down. Yeah, this is going to be one of those designs, kind of hard for me to tell, because it seems like it replaced and may have messed up styling in a different area. And I do know in different cultures or whatever, when it comes to how they align stuff, like this, right aligning a bullet point makes no sense to me, but I understand, you know, for me, it would make much more sense left aligning these, but I understand, again, depending on where you're from, there's different practices and standards for all that. But from what I see here outside of that, this is all pretty solid. It's a lot of type, but it all seems to be spaced out pretty well. In this area though, you can see there's hardly any padding from the top of this element, so you'd want to fix that. All right, there's a lot of type here. Oh, I can see how it's changing it all on the fly here. But yeah, just outside of those couple things, I'll check out real quickly. You mentioned an illustration of some sort. This is pretty solid. Yeah, this is good. I might want to change this gray and the purple. They kind of clash a little bit. Maybe make it either just black or something lighter, or a darker, a real dark purple or something like that. But yeah, for what this is solid. All right, thanks for that. The super chat. I'm going to continue on here. All right. Okay, so now this is going to be a real challenge. Who did I leave off with? I think it was her. No, it was Figma. So we're already at an hour. I'll do. I will do these three, and then anybody beneath here who didn't get a chance, starting from Pecco and down, then you're gonna have to send us a super chat, or just wait till 2 weeks from now on, because that's the next live stream will be 2 weeks from now. So I'm gonna check this Figma link real quick. I need water. Okay. All right. So this is a Figma prototype link, but there's nothing clickable, and it doesn't. Okay, so Discord images. It's a free and public hosting service. I understand that this is. It looks like more like a prototype, but judging for what it is, in this part, which looks really bad because of how the thumbnails are situated in here with this bar underneath. It's just not finished enough, and there's really not enough content for me to give you like a real solid review. So, I mean, this logo, I mean, that works. It does work in this area. If you're gonna have some type of search bar, you need to put like you need to let people know what it is in the first place, either by putting like a search icon or a placeholder text value here. The sign in button, pretty large, and there's nothing else. If there's going to be a sign in, there has to be. It's probably likely there's other navigations of sorts. So for what this is, it looks like this is a work in progress, obviously. But for what it is and what people submit, I'm gonna have to say, ooh, why does it keep doing that? I'll have to do it manually then. We're gonna say 3. My 3 button is screwed up because it did that before. Oh well. Okay. All right. We have 2 more to do. Let me check out the chat. All right. We'll do this one. This is from. Oh, this is rare. We got a female here. How about that? All right. I mean, unless to make sure that this person does identify as a female. You know, there's a lot of people identifying as strange things these days. Like, well, never mind. I won't go there. Wait. I already did hers. Yeah, super chat. Thank you for that. All right, so this one will be the last one, unless there's super chats to come in. Right, so I'm going to open original here. Please review these attempts to make a logo. Thank you in advance. All right. So unfortunately, going forward, for those who are listening, if you submit a logo design in the future, try to provide me with information about like what it is and what this person does or whatever, because that's important to make sure that the concept is nailed. But just looking at the design of how things are going, all right. There's a lot of styles mixed in here. We can see we have a nice font right here for the Francesco right here. And it's just a nice sans serif font that I like. Then we have this stencil sort of font, And these really contrast a little bit too much. It's okay to mix type, but it needs to be done correctly. It would even be better if just like if this were just completely bold and it wasn't this stencil with the lines going in here, because it's too much. It's just too much happening, I think. And then outside of that, the way this icon's designed, which is an interesting, it's like an F right here. We can see there's different concepts, like a FL. That's kind of cool right there. Like a backwards L though. It's rounded, so you can see the type is rounded here. So we're mixing three different things: rounded, and then kind of like a regular serif font here, sans serif font rather, and then a stencil font. So just too many things are happening here, and so it needs to be simplified more in terms of your style. And again, that could be as simple as taking this type, whatever this type is here, this Francesco, and then for the Lombardi, just use maybe the bold version of this type, if it comes in like a significantly more bold version. And that will simplify it a little bit more. And I think that would be a big improvement. All right. For what this is, I'm going to have to say, just because it is a cool sort of mark right here, but again, I don't really know what this person does, we'll say a 5. All right. Okay, you're half bad and half great. All right, so let me check out the chat here. See if there's anybody else who sent in a super chat that I didn't review. All right, that's good. Nobody did. All right. All right, so about an hour, 6 minutes. Again, one final mention of the sponsor, of course, who sponsors these these live streams, as well as most of my other videos, is Skillshare.com. If I mention there's areas that you need to improve on, you could definitely find a class here, whether that's the logo design people or the UI design people. You could definitely find classes here. So click on the link. Dang it. Click on the link. I left that up. Click on the link that's right here, or no, over here on my in the YouTube channel, and you'll get your first 2 months free to do any of these the UI UX design classes, as well as logo design classes. Just go in and type logo design, and they have a massive amount. Very popular classes. Awesome. All right, guys, that is it. And I'll just scroll through these and see if I want to address any of the questions. Are my daughters also devs into making? No, not at this point. They are not. They're still interested in just playing. Yeah, Adobe XD plugins, you just have to think outside of the box. I mean, a lot of the obvious ones have already been created, but there's always something that you can do. I can't really think about this. Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. You missed me by one, Gary. Yep, I'm sorry. All right. All right. All right, everybody. That is it. We're at about an hour and 10 minutes. So make sure to join me next week, where we're going to do a project follow-along, a live stream. So it's not going to be a review. The week after that will be, in 2 weeks, it'll be a review like this again, where we're going to do some sort of cool project follow-along next Friday. And then, of course, as always, make sure that you subscribe with the notification bell icon here on YouTube, because I'm always uploading at least 2 other regular videos, non-live stream videos during the week. And yeah. All right, guys. Make sure you idle in the Discord chat as well. There's a bunch of people here, tons. 283 people online, and I think about over 2,000 people in total. All right, so I'll see you guys